Hi, my name is Bob, and welcome to this tutorial video for the Talon Vassal module. In this video, I will assume you know some of the basics of Vassal, and I'll walk you through how to set up a game and use the ship counters. First, my thanks goes out to Stefano Tene for doing all of the legwork and putting this module together. For a long time we thought it would be impossible to make a module for Talon, but Stefano managed to pull it off, and it really turned out much better than anything I could have done. Also, thanks to all of our many playtesters that help us iron out the bugs in the module. Okay, let's see how to set up one of the scripted scenarios. First, click this button with the box and the counters, and it'll open up a list of the scripted scenarios. Then, select a scenario you want to play from the list. Warning: this usually takes a few minutes, as Vassal isn't the fastest piece of software out there. Even on a high-end PC, the larger scenarios can take well over a minute to load. Once a scenario loads, you'll note that the ships have been placed in these shaded setup areas. If you want to do a hidden setup, select all of the ships on your side that you're going to play, and then right-click and say Hide Reveal, or press Ctrl-H. This will flip all the ships over to their hidden side, so your opponent actually can't see what you have. The next thing you should do is stack all the ships in one space. To separate ships from the large stack, just double-click on the stack, and then pull off the ship that you want to place. Drag it to where you'd like it to be in the setup area, and there it'll go. It's still hidden. And just do this for each ship as you do your hidden setup. Finally, when you and your opponent have all set up and are ready to go, just highlight everything again and select Reveal. And now everything will be flipped over to visible. Note that if you ever mess anything up, there's a nice undo button here in the top left that you can just press and it'll rewind the last action. Let's say you want to set up a custom scenario or a battle for Empire War. Select Standard Setup from the scenario menu, and it just puts the standard setup zones in play here. Now you have to drag down individual pieces from the counter window manually. To open up the counter window, select the counter button, and you'll see that there are tabs for each of the factions, and individual ship classes are over here on the right, and then named ships within that class are in the drop-down box. So we can just drag them from the top there, and note that this can take a minute to kind of load in onto the map. These are the zoom buttons up in the top right. If you want to get a better view of the screen, you can use them to zoom out. Just drag that down here. This check mark will erase any of the movement trails. Terrain is also available from this window. Just drag it down like anything else. Once you and your opponent have finished setting up, you could just press this button here to get rid of all of the setup zones. So what do the individual ship counters do? If you're ever zoomed out too far, or you just want to see the details of an individual ship, just mouse over the ship and it'll come up big and upright here so that you can see the individual details on a ship. If there's a lot of informational counters on a ship, you might not be able to see all the details of everything underneath. What you can do is if you left-click to select a ship, it makes all of those things go semi-transparent. So now you can kind of see what's going on underneath the informational counters. To make everything opaque again, just click off of it. When a ship is selected, with the left-click, you can use Control-Right to turn a ship. Or you can also use the right-click menu and select rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. To place a turn radius, you can press Control-Up, and then you get a window asking how far ahead to place the turn radius, and it will automatically place the turn radius marker in front of the ship. Note that the turn radius markers actually have a name above them. They're attached to the parent ship, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. With the ship selected, you can press Control-P, which will set up your power curve if this was the power phase. You can also change those numbers manually in this menu here. Shield damage can be assigned from this menu. Just select which shield and then how much damage to apply, and those pips should be marked off. The same goes for hull damage. Shield reinforcements can be placed through this menu. First, select which shield you want to reinforce, and then tell Vassal which impulse letter it is. Weapons are in this menu. The erase option is what you would use if you fired a weapon, which would erase all the pips on that weapon. And then to start charging it back up again, you can charge the red or yellow boxes with this menu here, and it'll charge 1 box every time you select red or yellow charge. Note that the jury rig and weapon destroyed options are also here if you take critical damage. Missiles have a fire option, which will place the fired missiles right in front of the firing ship. You'll notice that this has text on it that says no lock. Well, if we say assign target and then type in the name of a target ship, it is now assigned to that ship. And why that's important is because if you right-click on a ship, you'll notice it has an option that says Highlight Dependencies. Well, this causes you, over the whole map, to highlight any of these markers, be it turn radius or missiles, that are assigned to this ship. So now we can easily see that, yes, he has a missile targeting him. These highlights can be cleared with this button here. The same goes for this guy's turn radius. Afterburners are in this menu. Batteries and other AP-related things are in this menu. If you have a bunch of change and defend initiative markers in play, you can use this button to clear all the change or defend initiative markers at the end of a turn. If a battle starts to drift off the board, you can use these white arrows to extend the board in that direction. Note that this can take a minute or so depending on how many ships are on the map. Note that this action cannot be easily undone with the undo button. The mini-map can be opened with this menu. To go online, hit the satellite menu. Critical damage is assigned in this menu. First, just select either slot 1 or slot 2, since ships can at most have basically 2 critical damage markers on them. So we'll select helm down, and that places the helm down marker on him. And then we can also do that for critical damage 2. We could do, let's say, power relay down, and that places another one. Note that when he's selected, those become semi-transparent and you can't tell exactly what they are, but if you left-click off of them, then you'd be able to tell. To destroy a ship, select Destroy. This doesn't actually delete the counter, it sends them to the Casualties window up here. From the Casualties window, we can then assign a ship to either the player 1 or player 2 side and use the ship points to help calculate degree of victory at the end of a battle. Ships can, of course, be renamed to whatever you want. The impulse tracker is at the top of the map. You can just drag the counter into each of the turn settings here, and you can flip the impulse marker to show who the initiative player is. If you don't feel like scrolling all the way to the top of the map, you can click this button to bring up a separate window that's lined up. It's completely in sync with the impulse tracker on the main map, and that way you can just have the impulse display right there next to wherever the action is. This button will let you save the entire map as a screenshot. These binoculars let you draw a line of sight, which might be important for determining terrain effects. And finally, this checkmark button will erase any of these movement trails, and those can be useful if you're doing a play-by-email game. That does it for this tutorial. Hopefully you have a good idea how to use this great Vassal module. I'll be uploading another video shortly explaining how to play Empire War using Vassal. Thanks again to Stefano Tine for burning the midnight oil and getting this module finished. Good luck out there.